Bruce Beresford-Redman was born on April 20, 1971, in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. In the late 1990s he met Monica Burgos at a restaurant she and her sister Carla Burgos opened in 1994 called Zabumba Bar and Restaurant, a Brazilian eatery and nightclub. Monica was a Brazilian national, and 5 years later on Monica's 31st birthday on April 8, 1999, Bruce and Monica married. The couple had 2 children, a boy and a girl, Alec and Camilla. Due to both their successful careers in 2007, the family purchased a $2 million home in Los Angeles and traveled frequently. Bruce was a television producer during the early 2000s. He did shows like Survivor, Pimp My Ride, and Pimp My Ride UK. In 2003, he co-executive produced a documentary-style series called Profiles from the Front Line. In 2005, he also co-executive produced The Contender, a boxing-themed reality series. The couple had marital issues as Bruce was allegedly having an affair with his co-worker casting director, Joylyn Pierce. The two worked on one of Bruce's shows, called Crash Course. Monica, however, only learned of the affair in January 2010 after finding several emails and text messages, and after overhearing a conversation between Bruce and Joylyn, according to authorities. In the weeks before the trip to Cancun, Monica took the children on a trip to Hawaii and refused to allow Bruce to accompany them. 3 months later, in April 2010, Monica agreed to go with him for the family vacation they took every year for her upcoming birthday. The family took a vacation to a posh Cancun resort called the Moon Palace Hotel. But during the trip, Monica disappeared in the early morning hours of April 5th. That morning, 2 teenage guests staying in the room below the family stated they were awakened around 6 a.m. by screams and cries for help. They claimed it sounded like a woman in extreme distress, as well as extremely loud banging coming from the room above theirs. When asked about this, Bruce told hotel staff that the noises were from a fight they were having about the behavior of their children. He later told investigators the screams were from a game they were playing with their 3-year-old son. There was no record of Monica having left the hotel grounds, and Bruce claimed his wife disappeared after she left by herself to go shopping. However, Monica didn't have her cell phone, and according to her sister, she would never leave her kids with their father for a whole day without her cell phone. During the investigation, authorities learned that other than the couple's marital problems, there was also mental abuse and Bruce's addiction to phone sex, with bills totaling $5,000. They also learned the extent of the affair and how long it lasted. For instance, during Monica's first pregnancy, Bruce purchased an expensive watch for his mistress Joylyn, which she in turn returned it to the store for cash. According to authorities, it's exactly unclear if and when the affair actually ended. After this, Monica cleaned up the couple's bank account and gave Bruce an ultimatum. Either he give her a divorce and divide their assets in half, or she would keep everything she withdrew from the accounts. According to prosecutors, the night before they left for the vacation, the family's nanny stated she overheard the couple fighting. And she overheard Bruce say they needed to buy a life insurance policy for his wife and himself. During their marriage, the couple purchased life insurance policies for the both of them. $5 million for Monica if Bruce dies, and $500,000 for each child if Monica dies. Bruce, however, was not the beneficiary of any policies, but investigators later learned that Bruce took out 2 life insurance policies on Monica, a week before her body was found. 3 days later, on Thursday morning, April 8, 2010, on what would have been Monica's 42nd birthday, her body was found naked and beaten in a sewer pit at the hotel where they were vacationing. An autopsy would later show that Monica died by asphyxiation and had suffered bruising on her face as well as a head injury. On May 31, 2010, Mexico issued an arrest warrant for Bruce in connection with the murder of his wife. Mexican officials said Bruce hit Monica in the head with a bat, metal tube, or stick and then choked her to death before dumping her body in a hotel sewer. 6 months later, on November 16, 2010, CNN reported that Bruce Beresford-Redman had been arrested by U.S. Marshals in Los Angeles using a warrant from Mexico. On November 29, 2010, he was denied bail by a Los Angeles federal judge. On July 12, 2011, U.S. Magistrate Jacqueline Colgien determined that Bruce should be extradited to Mexico because there was enough circumstantial evidence to show probable cause that he may have murdered his wife. U.S. prosecutors reviewed the case made by Mexican authorities and deemed there was sufficient evidence to show possible motives for him to have killed his wife. This included collecting insurance money, getting sole custody of their children, and continuing his extramarital affair. After a 3.5-year trial, and maintaining his innocence, on March 12, 2015, Bruce was convicted of murdering his wife, and sentenced to 12 years in the Benito Juarez prison in Cancun, by Judge Victor Manuel Echeverria-Tun. Afterwards, Bruce appealed, and the prosecution were also open to the possibility of filing an appeal as well, as they deemed the sentencing too lenient. In a video prison diary, Bruce claimed that much of the evidence against him was reportedly contaminated in police custody, and the small amounts of blood in the hotel room where the family stayed did not belong to Monica according to DNA testing. In prison, Bruce lived with 10 other inmates in a 12 by 15-foot cell, with water only running a few hours a day. In August 2019, Bruce was released from prison after serving 7.5 years.
Former Survivor producer convicted of murdering his wife while on a vacation in Cancun is back home here in L.A. after serving time in a Mexican prison. It was a case that made headlines around the world.
It was a real-life Hollywood whodunit that ended with the producer convicted and serving time.
Well, Bruce Beresford-Redman, that's his name. He's now living and out in Gardena. That's where CBS 2's Dave Lopez is, where he tracked him down. Dave.
Well, this is the neighborhood where he is, and he was playing peekaboo with us all day. He would not come out, would not answer his door. And, of course, the big question is, why did he get out so soon? He was supposed to be serving 12 years in a Mexican jail when he was sentenced in March of 2015. But, of course, it's not 12 years. Far from it. He was released, and now he's home free.
I've been accused of a horrible, abhorrent crime, and I'm innocent.
Bruce Beresford-Redman, from his jail cell in Cancun, Mexico, told 48 Hours that he did not kill his wife, Monica, more than 9 years ago at a resort in Cancun.
The cell that I'm in is a very small cell. It's designed for 3 men, and there are 10 of us in here.
He made a video diary for 48 Hours of his life in a Mexican prison, and he was sentenced to live that way for 12 years, convicted by a Mexican court on March 12, 2015 for the murder of his wife. But now, he's a free man, back in Gardena, living in this home with his mother. Well, Bruce, Juanita, I heard you came to the door after I went around the corner. Any chance you saying anything to us? Hello.
Hi, I'm sorry, but I have no comment.
Nothing whatsoever, ma'am? Nothing? And that's how his mother, Juanita, would say as she closed the door. Her son, Bruce, never came out, never answered the door, although one neighbor told me she has seen him several times in the last 2 months. That's when he was released from the Mexican prison.
I miss her every day. It's like part of me has gone.
The sister of Redman's wife, Monica. The family has made it clear since day one. They believe Redman killed his wife. But today they said they had no comment. Redman, a one-time producer on the CBS show Survivor, and his wife had been having marital problems when they went to Cancun. They took their 2 small children with them. And then she disappeared. Her nude body found in a sewer pipe near the resort where they were staying. That was on April 8, 2010. Redman was detained, then released, and ordered by the Mexican government not to leave the country. He did anyway. May 31, 2010, Mexico issues arrest warrant for the murder. November 16, 2010, he was arrested in Los Angeles by U.S. Marshals. February 8, 2012, sent back to Mexico. March 12, 2015, convicted of murder, sentenced to 12 years. August 2019, he's back home. Now, he had been in some type of prison, either in Los Angeles or Mexico, since November of 2010. But when he was sentenced in 2015, the Mexican judge made it very clear, 12 years. So why the early release? Well, according to the Mexican press, it's because for good time. That's why he got released early. Plus the fact that he paid a fine, about 43,000 pesos. That's a little more than $2,000 American dollars. And now he's home, a free man.
At that time he was 49 and had returned to Southern California, and shortly after being released, he won the right to partially terminate the guardianship of his children that his mother Juanita had held for nearly a decade. Today, Bruce resides in Southern California with his mother and decides to lead a quiet life as he does no interviews nor takes any questions from any reporters asking about the case. In 2015, a TV movie called Murder in Mexico, the Bruce Beresford-Redman story, was released based on the case. No information about the kids today and where they are now has been made public.